Today is my 31st birthday. What is it that I actually want from my life? And if you're new here, my name is Andrew. And on this channel, I typically stick to fitness content. But today I wanted to kind of dive into a subject that I feel like I've been thinking a lot about lately. What is it that I actually want from my life? I'm 31 years old now, and although I don't think I'm some wise old man at this point, I know that 31 is still relatively young. I do feel, though, like this is a transitionary period where I can still remember what it was like to be in my 20s and to actually be young and to be a kid and to be able to make mistakes. And people will say, well, that's okay. Like, you're a kid. You'll learn eventually. And now I'm transitioning over to that period where a lot of those learning lessons should have happened by now. And so I think a lot of them have. I've definitely made some mistakes in my past. I've fallen over my own feet, and I'm starting to come to the realization that you don't quite understand when you're in your 20s. And that is just that life has an ending to it at some point. We are all on our own timeline, but the timeline does have a point where it comes to an end for everybody. And I'm 31 years old. I'm not saying that I think that time is coming anytime soon. Hopefully it is far in the future. But I feel like coming to that realization that there is a timeline on all of this does change the way that you behave. And I know it has for me. It's changed the way I behave because in my 20s, it didn't matter what I was doing, who I was doing it with, when I was doing it till. None of it mattered because none of this had a timeline on it. I had forever to make these mistakes and to learn from these things, and now I don't. So we're coming to an end. Not actually, but because I'm entering into that transitionary period, like I'm spending a lot of time thinking about what are the things in my life that truly make me feel the most amount of meaning and lead a purpose-driven life. And when I came to these three or four different variables by just reflecting on my days. What are the different things that happened on a certain day that made me feel fulfilled? What filled my cup up? And I came to the conclusion that my foundational values are my family, my friends, fitness, and having a positive impact on my local community around me. Those might sound obvious, and for a lot of people, those are what our foundational values are. Not everybody. Everybody has their own way of looking at life. But for me, those are the main ones. And I would also add in there that having a career that challenges me is also something that provides me with a lot of purpose. There was a point in time not that long ago where my career and earning more money and getting that next best job was the most important thing. I thought that if I got that next job, it would earn me more respect. It would give me the resources to show other people that I'm doing well. After having like a little bit of success in that area and being able to do that, none of that really provided. Those were never the periods where I stopped and said, this is filling my cup up. This is making me feel a lot of purpose in my life. It just didn't exist. And so it's still important to me to be able to provide for myself and for my future family and to be able to do fun and exciting things. but it's not that number one priority anymore. It's fallen back toward the back of the pack. And so I've been trying to really understand, not only what are the things that provide me with the most amount of purpose, but what are the things that also provide me with the least amount of purpose. And I want to be able to identify these as what they are. They're distractions. Anything that is not good for me that I'm spending my time on and taking time away from the things that actually provide me with that sense of satisfaction and show me that I'm living a purpose-driven life, they need to be removed. Or I need to find ways to at least minimize how much time I'm giving them. And so for me, like, that has been going out every weekend and drinking alcohol, and I still do those things. I just don't do them as often. And if getting together and being social with your friends is something that provides you with purpose and meaning, then great. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that at all. There is absolutely not. It just wasn't adding to my life in a positive way. So I have stopped doing it as often. Now there's a time and place for all of it, but for me, I needed to remove some of it. I removed that distraction. I stopped worshiping that next best job or worshiping money. And although I do find it important to be able to provide for yourself, there are limits to how much of your life you should devote to doing that. I used to think that working 12, 13-hour days was the way to get everything you want out of life. And I just don't feel that way anymore. A lot of things have changed in that respect. One area that I have also realized that has kind of changed the way that I have thought about how I'm spending my time. In the past, I only would spend my time doing things that were going to make me more money or get me one step closer to, that next promotion or that next way to show somebody out there that I'm doing really well. That was my goal. And now I even find some of that old archaic mindset still around today, but now I know that I need to identify it when it's happening and kind of control it. For example, I've been spending so much time on my YouTube channel and posting videos, and I have made no money doing this. I have lost money just from equipment and all of that, and that's fine. I'm learning that it's important to spend time doing things that you're passionate about just for the sense of you're passionate about them. There doesn't need to be a dollar value or an opportunity to get the next job associated with it. You should spend more time doing stuff you're passionate about just because you're passionate about it. And that's what passion and purpose and meaning is really all about. And I feel like in today's society, they might tell you, well, you shouldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be spending your time doing these things because, you need to be thinking about your future. You have to worry about that. How is this going to help you in the future? And there's no dollar amount or dollar figure that can be attached to doing something that makes you feel purposeful. And I think, at least from my experience, that has been forgotten. And I'm trying to recognize that today. If you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. You're a warrior. This has just been one long run-on sentence, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. I wanted to just put a video out that showed what some of my thoughts were at this particular juncture. Maybe you connect with it. Maybe you're also going through a transitionary period where you're trying to find more meaning and purpose in your life. And if even one person out there has that experience with this video, then it was worth it. So thank you so much for watching it all the way through. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.